Do you know what takes a ho-hum online course that doesn't sell and turns it into an irresistible course that has your audience pulling out their wallets, eager to jump in and enroll? Well, it comes down to something that I like to call the bucket system. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you what the bucket system is and how you can take this concept, apply it to your online course offer, and start making more sales instantly. You're going to learn what the 5 buckets are and why you need each one in your course, the reason why we need each bucket and how it'll make a giant difference to your sales, and how to package up your offer with an irresistible value stack. This is actually taken from a lesson from inside of one of my programs. So you're getting a behind the scenes peek today at one of the concepts that I have taught my students. So that's all coming up in today's episode. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Passive Project Podcast, where we talk about how to build your online business to make more income, more impact, and give you more freedom in your life. I'm Gemma Bonham-Carter, business strategist, mom of 2, lover of passive income, automation, and coffee. Welcome to the podcast. All right, the bucket system. This is one of my favorite things to teach on and talk about as it relates to crafting your irresistible digital offer, your irresistible online course, whatever it is that you're creating. When you can take this approach of using the bucket system, you take something from an idea and maybe a very one-dimensional digital offer suddenly into this like incredible package or bundle that is going to be so much more enticing for people to purchase. So let's dive on into this. What exactly is the bucket system? The idea here is that we have multiple buckets of types of content that you can include in your online course or your digital offer, and you want to have things from all 5 buckets if possible. And you can have lots of things from all 5 buckets. And I'm going to get into what each bucket is, but when we have elements from every bucket in our online course or in our digital offer, what it means is that we have suddenly created a much more appealing packaged offer for our prospects to purchase. Because like, let me ask you, what type of learner are you, right? Like, I'm a very visual learner, but other people are don't really need visual so much. They would like long text-based lessons. Like, that's really how they learn. Some people prefer video lessons. Other people prefer audio lessons. And also what you place value on changes. I may really value lesson-based content in an online course. Somebody else might really value templates and swipe copy and plug and play things, right? Another person might really value coaching or one-on-one support or access to a community. And we all value those things differently. And by creating an offer that kind of touches on all of those types of content, what you're doing is you're appealing to all the different types of people out there. So who might learn differently or value things differently. So that's kind of the premise behind the bucket system. And what the bucket system really allows your offer to be or to do is ultimately it allows it to be multifaceted, right? You've gone from taking something which might have been just this very one-dimensional, say, online course that's just full of video lessons to suddenly being much more varied in how it's delivered. You've also suddenly made your course appear very good value for money, right? Like, we've just really amped up your prospects kind of valuation of your course by creating this packaged deal as opposed to this sort of one-dimensional product. You've also, as I mentioned earlier, you've suddenly aligned with all the different learning styles. And so you're appealing to people who learn in different ways. You're suddenly offering a very exceptional experience for your customer by really diving in and implementing the bucket system. And then you're also addressing objections and challenges that people may have before purchasing your offer. Like, for instance, maybe you've gone and you've checked out, let's say, a program before, and one of your objections is that, oh, well, it doesn't come with X, Y, or Z, which I would really need in order to implement this effectively. Well, when you've implemented the bucket system on your offer, you will inherently address a lot of objections because you're delivering your content in all kinds of different ways. So there are 5 main buckets when we talk about the bucket system. 5 kind of buckets or sort of categories, you could think of it, of types of content that you want to think about as you are creating your course. So bucket number 1 is teaching. This is like pretty like 101 as you're creating your online course or whatever your digital offer might be. You've probably thought about this already. So teaching is bucket number 1. Digital is bucket number 2. I'm going to dive what into each of these are in more detail in just a sec. Bucket number 3 are shortcuts. Bucket number 4 are interactive, and bucket number 5 are other. So bucket number 1 are your teaching. It's like the teaching component of your digital offer. So this is going to be the core lessons that you're creating. It's going to be any like master classes or interview series you're going to throw in. If you do any kind of like challenges or workshops or any tech tutorials, let's say, maybe you have like a certification program that you take people through, or you have some sort of mini course that you add in. Those are all falling under bucket number 1. And so you can see that all of those things they're teaching. You're teaching your students on a particular topic in various different ways. Bucket number 2 is digital. So this refers to the actual kind of like digital downloads that we often get with an online course or any kind of program. So this refers to the PDFs, the workbooks. It might be an ebook, a guide, some sort of planner maybe. Maybe there's a roadmap or a worksheet. Something that I love to include in my programs are Google Docs, like, so it's very easy for somebody to like just snag and put to use. So any kind of digital download that you provide is going to be bucket number 2. And what you can think of is like, okay, if in bucket number 1, I created video lessons, let's say, for bucket number 1, well, can I create worksheets or workbooks that go with the video lessons, right? And then that way we've appealed to 2 buckets. We've got teaching and we've got digital assets together in that one, kind of like around that one piece of content that I'm teaching. Bucket number 3 is actually my favorite bucket, and this is shortcuts. And so what do I mean when I talk about shortcuts? This would be like templates. Could be slide deck templates or graphic templates, right? Any kind of fillable spreadsheet, any kind of calendar, or maybe it's like a Trello board or Asana board. Could be any kind of copy and paste processes or a toolkit or some sort of swipe file. Like something that I love to give to my students are email swipes so that they can use these swipe files for their own, like say launch emails or evergreen emails. It could be some sort of calculator that you've created or an assessment tool, like basically anything that your student can take and either like copy and paste or just use right away would be a shortcut item. So again, let's go along the path of like, okay, say we've got our video lesson, which is from bucket number 1. We've paired it with a workbook. That's a digital download from bucket number 2. And then in bucket number 3, can I create a shortcut that's going to help them implement what they've learned in this lesson faster? So can I hand over a swipe file, or can I hand over a spreadsheet? Can I hand over a graphic template that's going to make what I've just taught them so much faster? So that's what the bucket number 3, shortcuts, is all about. And shortcuts can actually often be what really add to the perceived value of your program. They tend to be really like hot ticket items. Usually shortcuts are like what people often use as bonus, that like as part of their bonuses for when they're selling an online course. And people love shortcuts. Like I personally always am looking for the shortcuts when I'm buying an online program, because I love to be able to see the results faster. And that's what these are doing for people, right? It's like removing headache, removing frustration, and allowing them to get the results faster. So bucket number 4 is all about the interactive components that you might be including in your online course. So what does this mean? This could mean a Facebook group. It could mean a Slack group. It could mean a membership of some kind. It could mean coaching calls. It could mean in-person events or retreats even. Email, phone, Voxer access, anything like that. Any kind of accountability group that you might create, those would all be considered interactive. So in this bucket, we're really thinking through like the community aspect of your online course. And I think what often people immediately go to is that it has to be a private Facebook group, but it doesn't have to be a private Facebook group. If that's not what is feeling right for you as the creator, don't do that. Like if you don't want to lead a Facebook group, then you don't have to just because everybody else is. This could be something really different. Like you might do once a month coaching calls as part of your online course and just communicate via email with your students, right? Or some people love using Slack. You could create a Slack channel for all of the students in your program. Or there could be like a very timely accountability group that goes along with the sort of implementation of your online course. So let's say your online course, you run it live and it's going for 6 weeks. Well, that accountability group could go for the 6 weeks, right? Voxer access is a really fun one. And so Voxer is a piece of software that you can use where essentially you're like voice memoing back and forth with your students. And it allows people to get like one-on-one access from you, but in a way that doesn't really feel like it's kind of invading your privacy, right? Like you just can say to yourself, okay, I'm going to log into Voxer like 3 times a week and answer any questions that I've had come in. That could be how you use Voxer access. So bucket number 4 is just all about the interactive pieces. So whether you choose one thing or a couple of things from this bucket, you do want to add some element of community or interactiveness to your online course, because it really does, again, go to the perceived value of your program. If you're selling a small digital product, you don't need to have an interactive component, right? Like if somebody's not spending a ton of money, they're just, often what we use in smaller products is like a mini course, or it's those shortcuts, right? It's like swipe files or templates. But if people are really spending money to come into an online course of yours where they're sort of expecting a bit more, this is where the interactive bucket really comes in. And then bucket number 5 is other. No better name for it than just other. And this is where you might have, let's say like some people have even developed a software or an app that goes along with what they teach. So that would fall under bucket number 5. Now, that's going to be the minority of people, right? So the other option here, the other kind of way that you can tackle bucket number 5 in your offer is to have a discount or a free trial to a software or app program that you recommend inside of your course. So let me give you an example of that. I used to sell a course called Launch Your Shop, and it was for bloggers and creatives who wanted to launch their shops selling physical products. And the manufacturing company that I used to sell physical products when I did a shop was called Printed Mint. And I knew that my students were going to want to use Printed Mint. And I taught about how to use Printed Mint inside of my course. So I went to Printed Mint and I said, listen, I'm developing this course. I'm going to have students be going through it. I'm teaching them how to use your business to create their shops and their products. Could we work out some kind of arrangement so that my students could have some sort of incentive to want to sign up for your program and use your service? And they were super excited because it was an absolute win-win for them, right? I was sending customers their way. So they were happy to extend to me a coupon code that I could give to all of my students. And it was very generous of them. It was a $50 coupon code for new clients. So I was able to to add that to sort of my package of my course. And it definitely ramped up the attractiveness and perceived value of my online course offer. So can you do that for your course? Is there a piece of software or an app or any kind of tool that you talk about in your course that you use, that you're teaching your students to use, where you could kind of create an arrangement like this? And you may need to go to the company themselves and just open up the lines of conversation and just ask if something like that is available for them. So that is bucket number 5. And so ultimately your course needs to come with as many items from each bucket as possible. And the more diversity in buckets that you have in your offer, the more irresistible your offer becomes. You don't want to be all in bucket number 1 and don't really have any items from buckets 2 through 5, right? We want to be as spread out and as diverse as possible. So just a reminder of those buckets. Bucket number 1 are your teaching assets. Bucket number 2 are your digital downloads. Bucket number 3 are your shortcuts. Bucket number 4 is your interactive, like any interactive or community components. And bucket number 5 is other, which often refers to like softwares or apps or coupon codes for those kinds of things. So let me take you through a quick example so you can really see the difference in what an offer with the bucket system in action looks like versus an offer without the bucket system. So let's say you're selling an online course, and this is an online course on, I don't know how, let's just pick an easy one, like how to use Instagram as an e-commerce business owner. And let's say that this course comes with 15 video lessons, right? It's taking you through some comprehensive, like step-by-step guide on how to use Instagram effectively to sell more of your products. And it's got a course workbook that comes with it. That's kind of where everybody goes first when they're developing an online course, right? We think lessons in a workbook or lessons in a worksheet, and that's great. But that sounds really simple, right? Now let me give you the same, say it's the same course, right? It's a course about how to use Instagram for e-commerce business owners, but let me tell you what this offer includes. So this offer, it's the same step-by-step core like signature framework that they're teaching with 15 video lessons and a workbook. That hasn't changed, but now they're also bringing to the table a bunch of templates that can be used on Instagram for stories and posts and all the types of things that they would want to do on Instagram. It comes with a library of templates. It also comes with a Facebook group, a private students only Facebook group where they can interact with the other students and potentially ask questions and get feedback. It also comes with 3 weeks of Voxer access to the course creator. So for 3 weeks, they can send questions to the online course creator and get personalized responses and feedback on sort of what they're learning in the course and using Instagram more effectively. It also comes with the masterclass series. And this masterclass series could have been something that the course creator maybe did even as a free series. Maybe they had like a masterclass interview series with 5 different experts, all related to e-commerce marketing, and maybe did this as like a free sort of lead magnet thing back in the day, but they've packaged it up and included it in their program here as a like watch anytime masterclass. And then lastly, they have a discount offer on a related software program. So let's say it's like Planoly. They have a discount offer so that you can start using Planoly to really plan out your Instagram content and grid and posts and all that stuff. Like, phew, that was a giant, amazing packaged offer, right? When we compare the two, there's absolutely no doubt in our minds that option number 2 is the way more attractive online course. And we're going to feel way more excited and comfortable to open up our wallets and pay and jump in for course number 2, as opposed to course number 1, which seems like, frankly, pretty lackluster of a course, right? And that's just a really good demonstration of taking the bucket system, applying it to the course idea, and really hammering out this like amazing package for your potential students. So that's what I want you to do with your online course. You know what your online course is all about, but really start to look at those buckets and actually create this package, this sort of bundled offer that's going to make it so much more irresistible and valuable for your students. So list out your entire package, basically line by line, like every single item that it includes. And even as you're going through it, you can say to yourself, okay, you can put a little number, like, is this bucket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make sure that you've got, you know, quite a lot of like bucket 1s, bucket 2s, bucket 3s, that kind of stuff as you go through. So I literally want you to list out everything that's going to be included in your course and make sure that the buckets are all represented. Then, just to take this like really to the next level, I want you to give each item a really enticing name. So you're not necessarily going to, you know, you're not going to give like, I'm not talking about going into each and every lesson that you're creating, giving each one an enticing name, although that's definitely, you should do that too. But something like, for instance, the shortcuts that you're adding into your course, right? Let's say there's 20 Canva templates. All right, we can call this 20 Canva templates, but that's kind of sounds boring, right? Like, what if instead you actually gave this a really marketable name and called it Get the Perfect Grid, 20 Canva templates that will make your business stand out on social media. Boom, like suddenly that sounds like a product in and of itself, right? That is an irresistible little digital shortcut offer that we're excited about getting. It sounds a whole lot more juicy than just 20 Canva templates. And so for each item on your big old list that you've just created, can you give each one that really kind of juicy, marketable kind of name that's going to make it so much easier for you to sell, and it's going to make it so much more enticing for your prospects to, you know, read about on your sales page and ultimately want to purchase. And then the last thing I want you to do, you've given each thing a name, give each item a dollar value too. So, you know, 10 email scripts to pitch and land clients, value $97. 8 weeks access to private membership, value, whatever it might be. Like, this could be anything. It could be like $1,000, right? Online recordings to our 2-day live event. You could say like tickets were $19.97, values $4.97 for these online recordings. Like, when you put those dollar values next to all of your bucket list items, what you're essentially doing is you're creating your big value stack, which is what we're going to have on our sales pages for any kind of online course or digital offer. You need to have this big value stack of what's included because you want to show the value of your program. And ultimately, what you end up asking in terms of your price is an amazing deal when they see it against the value stack, right? And so let's say the value stack of everything that's included in your course is like $10,000. And the course is for sale for $997. Whoa, suddenly that $997 is looking like a hella good price tag when I know I'm going to get $10,000 worth of stuff, right? So that's what I want you to do at this point, is really like, we've applied the bucket system, we've created our big list, we've given each item marketable names, and now we've attached a dollar value onto each and every item on that list. And you have just gotten yourself an incredible, irresistible offer by doing that. So that's what I want you to do at this point. How can you use the bucket system to craft your irresistible offer or make your offer that much more juicy and sellable? Boom, knowledge bombs, right? That was a little behind the scenes sneak peek at one of the many lessons that I give to my students inside of my programs. And I was so excited to share that kind of strategy and methodology with you. And I'm excited for you to go and put it into action for your own online course or program. So I have two things for you. Number one, if you haven't created your online course yet, but you know this is something that you want to create, you want to launch, and you want to add into your business, then you need to go get yourself on the waitlist for Course Creator School. We are going to be opening up the doors to that program really soon, and you want to be the first to know about it. And this is my soup to nuts course. This is where I'm taking you through everything you need to know to go from, when you're starting from scratch all the way to a successfully launched course that is going to sell. Now, if you already have your course or membership or digital offer already created, but you're kind of struggling with making sales, then I want you to head on over to my free on-demand class, How to Scale Your Digital Product Business. Even if you're confused about evergreen funnels, overwhelmed by live launching, or have a small audience, you can head on over, register for that class at GemmaBonham-Carter.com/class. And watch it on your own time and get all sorts of stuff. We talk about the bucket system again in that lesson, but you're also getting more from me on, the hybrid marketing method, the 3 mistakes that most digital entrepreneurs are making that are keeping them stuck, and my own story of scaling from $800 in sales to $132,000 in sales in 1 year from one course. So head on over to GemmaBonham-Carter.com/class to register, and I will see you there.